Hi, guys. Welcome to the Rope of Hope. My name is Kimberly. I am your host, and this is the premiere episode. First one. Today is launch day. We've been building on this for a couple weeks, and I'm so excited to launch this podcast. Today, I have Paul with me. Paul, thank you so much for joining me and being my first guest.
Kimberly, I'm honored to be your first guest, and I'm so excited to talk to you and your audience.
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I am a coach. I call myself a mindset coach, life coach, whatever you want to call me. But my job is to help people rewrite their stories and take control of their lives. Take back that pen, because it's our stories to write and our stories to write alone. And the reason why I call it that way is because all through my life, people wanted to take the pen and write the story they thought my life should be, but I refused to give up my pen, and I want to teach other people what I did to overcome obstacles in my life.
I love that. And you actually have a group on Facebook called Rewrite Your Story that you actually invited me to recently. I've been in it for a couple days and absolutely love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And you've already responded to some of our posts, and I appreciate that. And our group can learn a lot from you. So I encourage you to post anytime you want to, because I know it's going to inspire other people.
I definitely will. So let's kind of jump into your story. You touched a little bit on people trying to take away the pen and write your story for you. Now, you were diagnosed as an infant with cerebral palsy. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And if your audience doesn't know what cerebral palsy is, it happens at birth. It's lack of oxygen to the brain. And as a result of this lack of oxygen to the brain, it can leave one side of the body paralyzed. And this is permanent. This does not go away. So when I was born, my mom noticed I wasn't moving the right side of my body very much. And obviously she was definitely concerned about that. So she took me to the doctors to get testing done to see what the issue was with me. And after the testing was complete, they came to the conclusion that I had cerebral palsy. And they thought it was so severe at the time that they thought I would never be able to walk. And it would be a good idea when I reached a certain age to get me ready to be in a wheelchair, because that was going to be my life going forward. Well, thank goodness. Yeah. Well, thank goodness for a great mom. She didn't go with that diagnosis. She got other opinions and found a physician that was willing to help. And with this physician's help, I was able to defy the other doctor's orders, and I was able to walk at age 3, which was obviously a great feat. I don't remember being able to walk at 3, but obviously I did, because I'm walking now. So obviously that did happen. But I do remember being put into soccer around 5 or 6 years old. And at the time, I could only run about 25 to 50 yards. And obviously these other kids are running laps around the soccer field, actually playing soccer. And I'm pretty much just standing there. And I remember going to my mom going, "This is ridiculous. I don't want to play soccer. I'm basically standing there. I really can barely kick the ball. I'm barely running with these kids. I want to quit." And my mom said, "That's fine. If you don't want to play soccer anymore, that's fine. But we have to honor our commitments. You have to finish out the soccer season. And then if you don't want to play soccer after that, that's your prerogative." So that's what's happened. I'm 40 years old. I've never played soccer since in my life after 5 years old. So my soccer career was very, very short. But I do remember right around 6 or 7, I got surgery on my right foot, and it was like game changer. It tightened up the tendons, and it took away the pain where I was feeling when I ran. And at the time, I didn't know how big of a game changer it was, because I switched schools around that time. And I remember my first day of PE, physical education. We did our stretching, and the teacher says, "Okay, guys, run a lap." And I'm thinking to myself, here we go again. I'm going to run 25 to 50 yards, and I'm going to have to stop. And these kids are going to see that, and they're going to start teasing me, because that's all I can do. But because of the surgery, it was different. I was able to go past that point where I normally have to stop. And I remember saying to myself, "Come on, Paul, keep going, bud. You got this. You got this." And I finished the lap with the other kids. On the outside, I kept it cool. But on the inside, I was like, yes, yes, yes. It was the first time in my life where I just fit in, where I didn't stand out. It was, one of the biggest feats of my young life was just running a lap with the other kids. You would have thought I ran a marathon. I was so happy, but so accomplished. But
well, for you, it was a marathon, though.
Oh, 100%. You are right.
Time.
Yeah, at that time, I felt like I was accomplishing running a marathon. You're absolutely right, 100%. That's how I felt. And things got easier for me, but I wouldn't consider them easy. I switched schools again in junior high. And as you know, that's just a tough age. You know, they're going through hormonal changes. They're becoming teenagers. They don't have a filter. They already have their cliques set up because I'll be a new kid. So I was a new kid. So just being a new kid alone going into junior high is going to be a tough feat, period. Well, I was a new kid with a disability because I still walk with a little bit of a limp and I still held my right arm a little bit differently. So I went into this new school and I was pretty much bullied and teased every single day. And on top of this, my mom raised me Catholic, so she wanted me to go to a Catholic high school. So I didn't take an assessment test to see where I was at academically. And well, I must have bombed the test because when I met with the principal and my mom, the principal tells us that we're going to put Paul at the lowest level possible. And I don't expect much from him because he does not seem like he's going to be college material. After one test, this principal says this to us. So I'm feeling devastated. I'm being bullied and teased in school. The future high school I'm going to go to already is writing me off that I'm not college material after one test. I'm crying myself to sleep going, why me? Why do I have to be different? Why can't I just fit in? And I don't know what came over me, but midway through my 8th grade, I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. Those were the two emotions that were coming up a lot in my life just because of the environment I was in. And I knew deep down those are my go-to emotions. I knew that wasn't me, but because of, like I said, my environment, that's where it was coming out all the time. So I thought, what could I do to distract me from these feelings, these sad and angry feelings I'm feeling all the time? And I thought, what if I set a goal for myself and I could focus in on that goal and kind of ignore the other noise? So I said, okay, what I want to do. And I go, at the time, I really loved baseball. So I thought, well, why don't I try to make my varsity baseball team? So from then I played fall ball, winter ball, spring ball. If I wasn't doing that, throwing a tennis ball against the wall. And I was doing this constantly. And the great thing about this, I know this now, I didn't know this at the time when I was doing it, but I was putting out a different energy to the kids. I had my shoulders back, my head up. I was feeling more confident about myself. And as a result of this new energy that I was putting out to these kids, the kids were putting out a different energy towards me. Instead of bullying and teasing me, they started rooting for me. So my junior high career, as opposed to my high school career, was completely different, all because of my energy shift. And that alone would have been worth the goal. And on the cherry on top was I was able to make my varsity baseball team as a junior and a senior, which was awesome. Great accomplishment. I graduate high school, and my baseball career is pretty much done at this point. And I start thinking to myself about what that principal said to me years earlier about not being college material, because all through high school, I pretty much mailed it in academically because I always felt like, what's the point? I'm not college material. Why waste my time? Just do enough to get by and stay eligible to play baseball and then go about your day because that's all you need to do because you're not college material. So I had that mindset all through high school. And I thought, well, I just accomplished this goal where that I made a varsity baseball team, somebody with cerebral palsy, somebody that was supposed to not walk. I was able to accomplish this goal, which at the time I made it, I thought was near impossible, was able to do it. So I thought, well, why don't I set another goal for myself to be college material? Why not be college material? So I enrolled into a junior college because that was the only place at the time that would accept me. And I got myself a tutor. I got myself a math tutor. I went to the math lab. I did all the things necessary to increase that GPA. And I took that 2.0 to 3.5. And as a result, I was able to transfer to a 4-year university where I was able to graduate. And I so wanted to go back to that principal and say, see, you were wrong. I was college material. But I thought about that and I go, you know what? I should probably thank her because without her saying that, I don't know if I would have hit the books as hard as I did because that was the carrot in front of me with that voice saying that wasn't college material. So I hit it hard. So in the end, thank you for giving me the motivation to go for it. So now I graduate college. I have no life experience whatsoever. I have no idea what the heck I want to do with myself. And I had a family friend who was in the mortgage industry, and he said, why don't I hire you? You become a mortgage loan officer. I said, why not? I'm not doing anything else. Let's go. So he hires me. And I am not welcomed with open arms at this company. Everybody's shunning me. I'm sitting alone at lunch. I feel like I'm back at junior high, right? Nobody wants to talk to me. And I quickly realized why that was. I knew the CEO, and they knew it was because of it was because of my name, not because of the talent. So what they were going to do is their plan was they were going to chew me up and spit me out because I had no business being there, because I had no experience. I shouldn't be there. So I thought, well, I gotta do what I did in junior high, right? I gotta focus in, ignore the noise, and work extremely hard. So that's what I did. I worked really hard. I had a positive attitude. I didn't complain about the workload. And from afar, because they didn't want to talk to me, I was observing what the top loan officers did. And I remember my first day wanting to go out in the field and get loans for the first time. And the family friend CEO stops me and goes, what are you doing? I go, well, I think I'm ready. I think I'm going to go out in the field and I want to get some loans. And he's like, no. You are not ready. Well, let me get you some more training and then we'll get you out there. And I'm like, no. I got this. Let's go. So I go and I fall on my face. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was getting beat up by the clients. I had no idea. Just fall on my face. Several months of just trial and error, really not knowing what I was doing. But slowly but surely, I started to realize the value I could add to these clients. And once I started to understand the value, I started to get loans, more loans, and more loans. And 2 years later, I became a top producer. And a lot of the people that didn't want to talk to me 2 years earlier are now coming to me with questions on how I was able to get so many loans in such a short period of time. So it was a great shift. And I really, really enjoyed the mortgage industry for many, many years. But then 2008, 2009 hit and the economy just tanked. And I would get a job in the industry and the company would just go belly up. And then I had to get another job. And it was just a hard time. And I was starting to really lose the luster of the mortgage industry. And I remember one of the last places I was at, they brought in this motivational speaker to talk to our sales team to motivate us. And the guy blew me away. The guy was tremendous. So I made a point after the presentation to go and talk with him to tell him how great of a job he did. And he allowed me to pick his brain a little bit and told me he started as a life coach. I'm like, life coach? What the heck is that? So he explained that to me. And I'm like, you know what? I think I want to do that. So I started to get my coaching certificate. I started doing things, and I started putting out in the universe that's what I wanted to do. And it's funny, the people in the mortgage industry, because I was telling them that's what I wanted to do, they were like, okay, life coach, go out and get loans, bud. They're just kind of humoring me. And then things started to get serious. I got my website up. I started getting everything going. And the legal team at the company I was working with at the time was like, what are you doing? And I explained what I was doing. They're like, you know what, this could be a conflict of interest. Let me investigate this and we'll get back to you. They came back to me.
Oh, looks like we are frozen.
Are you there?
Okay, I hear your voice. Oh, there you are.
Okay, sounds good. So I don't know where I left off. I bet the legal team, they gave me this 5-page report. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make any traction in this industry with all these restrictions on me. So I had to make some decisions. So I thought, well, I really want to try this coaching thing. So knowing that I'm starting a new business and knowing that most times you don't make any money for quite a while, I first wanted to get my debts in order, pay off all my debts. And that took me about a year to do, change all my spending habits. And I did all that. And then I quit. And the people were like, what in the heck are you doing? You just made President's Club. How do you just quit like that? And I go, I want to do this. And they're like, no, you're a loan officer. This coaching business is nonsense. And I'm like, no, I got this. And they're like, you're going to be back. You're a mortgage loan officer. I'm like, well, I'm just going to give it a go. And for a while, I wasn't doing well in the coaching business at all. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should go back into the mortgage industry. And then I started to think about value I could add to clients. See, how do I expect my potential clients to open up to me and be vulnerable with me if I'm not vulnerable with them? See, the story I told you about having cerebral palsy, I wanted to bury that story. I didn't want to speak of that story because all through growing up, all I wanted to do was fit in. I didn't want any special treatment. I wanted to be treated like everybody else. So just bringing up the fact that I have cerebral palsy almost brought me to tears. I just didn't want to talk about it. And I thought, well, you know what? The only way I'm going to make traction in this business is if I open up about having cerebral palsy. And I started doing that. And then people would come to me and go, you know what? I don't have cerebral palsy, but I have this. I think you can relate to me. I think you can help me. And slowly but surely, trial and error, because I was opening up my story, people started trusting me because I was being vulnerable with them and they felt comfortable being vulnerable with me. And that brings me here talking with you.
Well, I'm so grateful that you are here talking with me. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I'm moved and I'm honored that you were willing to share your story. I do have one final question for you.
Okay.
And you are the first person to get this question. I have another podcast. I end every episode with a question that I ask every single guest. So this is the question for the Rope of Hope. What is the most inspiring thing that has ever been said to you?
What is the most inspiring thing that's ever said to me? And that's a great question. That's a very powerful question. I would probably have to say it's probably my mom probably telling me, saying that if you believe, you can achieve, and you have that power inside of you to do whatever you want to do. You just got to put your mind to it and put it into action, and you can make it happen. And I think that's probably the most inspiring thing that was said to me was by my mom.
I love that. I love that. And I'm probably actually going to end up taking these answers and making them into a little thing that I put on the page. So hopefully that's okay with you if I do that.
That is awesome. And then if any of your viewers want to join the group like you did, Rewrite Your Story, feel free to have them join. The more the merrier. We're here to support, no judgment. Tell your stories with no judgment. We're here to support and motivate.
I love that. And feel free to actually put a post on the page with your group information. So if anybody is interested in joining Rewrite Your Story, please do so. It's an amazing group. Like I said, I've been part of it for 2 days and I absolutely love it. And I wish I had known about it before now. But I'm blessed to know about it now. You guys, thank you so much for joining us for this premiere episode of The Rope of Hope. I will be back here in about an hour and a half with our next guest because we are doing this all day today. It is a marathon of episodes. But if you like what you're hearing, if you want to hear more stories like this that inspire hope, all you have to do is help support me and keep me caffeinated at buymeacoffee.com/thisfatgirllife. Thanks so much for joining us, guys.